In a moment that left the studio stunned, Rachel Reeves faced a brutal reality check, and it didn't even require a single word as she stumbled through her Polish talking points. One British man's silent but powerful gesture spoke louder than any debate. It was the kind of raw, unfiltered moment that perfectly captured the growing frustration across the country, a silent stand that spoke for Britain itself. Stay tuned, you'll want to see how one small act exposed just how out of touch Labour's leadership really is. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for Rachel Reeves' speech. More for our country to build a stronger and more resilient Britain, a country built on and powered through the contribution of people in all parts of our country. Today I will set out more of our plans to make that a reality. I know how hard the last few years have been for so many people. I have always been clear that the central challenge facing this government is to improve living standards and to renew our public services, and that the only sustainable way to turn around Britain's growth performance after 14 wasted years to put more money in people's pockets, to revive our high streets, to give our children the opportunities that they need to succeed. And put simply, our plan is to make working people, to make our country better off. The central barrier to economic growth has been underinvestment. For too long Britain has lagged behind every other G7 economy when it comes to business investment as a share of GDP. One of the consequences was that the last parliament was the worst on record for living standards. This government's economic strategy is designed to fix that problem, underpinned by the three pillars that I set out before the election. First, stability, so that investors, businesses and families have the confidence to plan for the future. Second, reform, to remove the barriers that get in the way of so much potential. And third, investment, the lifeblood of growth and therefore of living standards. My cabinet colleagues and I have wasted no time in pursuing this agenda, overhauling our planning system. The single greatest barrier that businesses told me was standing in their way, starting in our first week in office with the biggest reforms to our planning system in a generation. This is how people reacted. This user said he needs a beer or 20 to forget this moment. Don't worry though, you can save 1 penny on a pint thanks to Reeves. James said it looks like a video behind her and she is standing in front of a screen. Mark said she sounds like a school teacher, the boring one we all hated. This user said he's a regular working class person like the rest of us that is sick of the BS. Joe said, we can all relate to this everyday man and we all know exactly what's going through his mind. He's dying to shout out what a load of crap. This user said, he's depressed rather than impressed. His demeanor says all, he doesn't even have to try. Well done mate. Ratchet, or someone picked the wrong backing group. She's got a face like a busted boot and her master's voice as sincere as a black mamba. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. In other news, Conservative MP Bob Saley has launched a scathing attack on Prime Minister Kier Stmer, saying he finds it offensive when the Labour leader dresses up in a military uniform and looks like he's acting tough. Speaking to the media, the former soldier criticised Stmer's plans for a new era of defence and slammed the government's lack of clarity on how much certain aspects will cost, hitting out at defence Secretary John Healey's inability to disclose the cost of Britain's new Orca submarines. Seeley fumed, it's pretty pathetic and it's part of the course for the government, sadly. And John Healey, to his credit, is one of the better or less useless ministers, so if he doesn't even know, it's no wonder that people like Rachel Reeves and all the others like Lucy Powell sound so much worse. The former soldier also criticised Starmer's military appearances. Given his professional background, he told the media, I personally find it offensive the way that Kier Stmer dresses up in a uniform and looks like he's acting tough. This is a man who spent his political career and legal career being on the left of British politics, or taking our nation to court and supporting people, very often former terrorists, terrorist sympathisers and people who wish this country harm, and he's been their lawyer through thick and thin. Seeley also condemned the government's handling of the Chagos Islands Treaty, which he claims will cost £9 billion. Seeley stated, the Chagos Deal is one of the most disastrously stupid things this government is doing, and that's certainly saying something. We don't have to spend £9 billion giving the CHO to Mauritius. All we have to do is say actually we're keeping it, and we could be spending that £9 billion on a lot of other things, whether it's winter fuel, whether it's supporting pensioners, whether it's supporting schools, or indeed supporting defence. The former Tory MP also criticised the government's approach to defence spending and deterrence. The reality is that deterrence is expensive, but it is always cheaper than fighting, and the fact is we're now spending a lot of money arming Ukraine 'cause deterrence has not worked because Putin thought we were weak. He didn't think we'd defend or support the Ukraine, and he didn't think the Ukrainians were going to fight in app-appointed criticism against Stmer. Healey claimed, if he understood our deterrence and if he was deterred we wouldn't be in the mess we're in now and hundreds of thousands of people wouldn't be dying on the other side of Europe. I think Kier Stmer is one of the worst prime ministers in history, and I think Kem is a good leader. As a soldier, I personally find it offensive the way that Karma dresses up in a uniform and looks like he's acting tough. Healey expressed support for military recruitment initiatives aimed at school leavers despite Labour's previous criticism of similar conservative proposals. He concluded, I do support it because I loved my time in the army, and if I had my time again I would do it properly, and I joined the army at a much younger age. I nearly did it when I was 18, then decided not, and I think it's a great career, and actually I really recommend it. Likewise the RAF and Navy, if we can draw people in I think they'll find it structured and exciting. It's got some discipline and you do adventure training and you actually learn pride in yourself and pride in your country, and we don't have enough of that at the moment, so that bit works. In summary, Bob Healey's blistering remarks reflect deep frustrations with the current government's defense policies and Prime Minister Stmer's approach to military matters, from criticism of spending transparency to fierce opposition to symbolic gestures. Healey paints a picture of a government lacking conviction and clarity while reaffirming his belief in the value of military service and national pride. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.